This lecture will be Leiloi Nishmat Amnon ben Ekadem. How long since he passed away?
I'm sorry?
How long since he passed away?
I think today's the 7th day, they said.
Does any member of the family here know?
Well, he was supposed to come, but he didn't know.
Right.
7 days ago.
Okay, we'll do the lecture for his Ilui Neshama. We'll start now. Good evening, everyone. There is a tradition in Jewish, it's a custom in Jewish tradition that when a person passed away, there are certain things that we do for the soul. First 3 days are critical, then there's 7 days, what we call Shiva, then there's a month, and then there's a year. And then after the year, every year and the week that he passed away, from Saturday to Saturday, from Motzi Shabbos to Motzi Shabbos, in the entire week, there's a tradition to say Kaddish for his sons, that they can say Kaddish. One of the most productive things as far as the soul concerns, when a person passed away, is that when we make a Torah lecture for him, the more Jews learn Torah, it goes to his merit, which means we can see that the children of the deceased person can help him a lot. He cannot help himself anymore. That's it. He's there. He doesn't have a free choice anymore. He cannot choose to do good or bad. Whatever he did, he did. That's it. It's final. So he depends on the goodness, on the mercy of his children. If his children are grateful to their father, I want to help him out. Like sometimes I see very nice, like I just came from Myrtle Beach in South Carolina. I was there for 2.5 days, and there's a family of a person who passed away a year ago. I didn't see a family that is so devoted to their deceased father. How much they did. They sponsor Torah awards, brochures, they invited me to come. They brought food, they made a big dinner, they do so much for him. That shows that the family cares about their father, they appreciate what he left for them. But you should know one thing, the most important thing is the words of the Torah that every person hears. The more people come to the yortzeit, the better it is for him. If 30 people come and the speakers speak an hour, so let's count 30 hours of Torah. If 60 people came, it's count 60 hours of Torah. For us, it doesn't really make that much of a difference how many people show up, whether it's 50 or whether it's 500 or 5,000, because anyway, the main zchut will be in a website, because many people will hear this lecture, and every person who will hear this lecture, his merit will grow accordingly. So therefore, if you can recommend it to all your friends, divineinformation.com, and also it's going to be on TorahAnyTime, of course, TorahAnyTime.com, so this is it. As I said, if you say today it's the 7th day, so today it's the last day that the soul gets permission to visit in a house when the children sit Shiva. After today, when the 7 days period is over, the deceased person doesn't have permission anymore to see what's going on in this world. That's it. Up to now, he still had some limited connection to what's going on here, even though his body was covered and everything. But that's it. He's still going to have some little connection to this world until when? Until the worms finish to eat the body. Once the worms finish to eat the body, that's it. No more connection, even small connection to this world. This is it. So let's start. I wanted to talk as usual about a few different things. We know that in the last week we saw a sample of what's going to happen soon to our nation. We just saw a sample in the last 7 days, how much the world hates us. We knew it, it's nothing new. I mean, at least not to me. I always been speaking about it. But we just saw how hypocrite the goyim can be. Even those who consider our friends stabbed us again and again and again every hour with their knives. Cannot rely on anyone, not on the Europeans, not on England, not on the United States, not any country. You cannot rely on them. You can see that after many years that Israel supported Turkey and gave them weapons and advanced technology and trade and all kinds of things, and millions of foolish Israelis goes there every week for tourism and spends billions of dollars every month in Turkey. What did they do? They became our biggest enemy. I think at this moment there are bigger enemies to us than Iran. That's how bad. Because their hate is hard to believe. How all of a sudden it changed. It's not that it changed. It was always like this. But this is what he calls a tzavua, hypocrite. A person that has one thing in his mouth and a different thing in his heart. If there's anything HaKadosh Baruch Hu cannot stand, is hypocrite people. It's called in Hebrew tzavua. What does it mean tzavua? Like painted. The paint covered the dirt. That's the expression. That's where it comes from. Inside is rotten. Outside he plays like a tzaddik. All of a sudden they support the terrorists. All of a sudden they support Iran and Syria. And they go to fight against us. They're threatening us with a war. That's what's going on. The prophet spoke that before the Mashiach comes, all the nations in the world will make one hand and come to fight against us, literally. A real big war. A disaster war. We're going to have huge casualties. Big disasters. Days that, from the Holocaust, we cannot remember such days. Every once in a while, unfortunately, HaKadosh Baruch Hu sends us this wild beast to remind us who we are. That our Father in heaven, the King of the universe, is not satisfied from us. That's why he turns these goyim like angry dogs to come and bite us and bark, to wake us up. And when a dog is threatening a person, he makes tshuva. Oh, I almost got killed. They wake him up, no? Oh, almost an accident, almost. I once went to a house in Yonkers. I was giving the weekly lectures. There was a huge dog over there. Very scary dog with a big chain, metal chain. I told the owner of the house, told him, Moshe, get rid of this dog. Dogs is a curse in the house to begin with, but a dog like this can destroy you one day. So what do you mean? So you can go bankrupt. So what's the connection? So all he needs is that he will bite one visitor and you'll be over. They'll sue you for millions. Nah, look how he listened. Sit, don't move, scream, the dog. Say, wait, we'll wait and see. You think that you can rely on them? Chazal say, en emunah bagoyim. You can never trust the nations. Some Gentiles are righteous. Let's not exaggerate. There are goyim that are righteous with pure heart, clean heart. They love Israel, they love Hashem, they love the Torah. Some of them maybe don't love Israel, but it's out of ignorance, not because they're evil. They just don't know anything. They hear a little bit on the news and they brainwash them, so they hate Israel just because they hear all this nonsense. They don't really know what's really going. I've been warning him, and about 2 or 3 years after, one woman came to the house, one of their best friends, and the dog attacked her and ripped her apart. And they lost everything they had, the business, the house, everything. You understand? To raise a dog means that you got a very serious punishment. Why? Let me ask you a question. Do you want to be a servant of a slave? If there is a slave that they just bought from Africa, let's say in the days of the slavery, they just bought a slave, and they're offering you a job to be his slave. It's a much bigger embarrassment to be a slave of a slave. No, a slave of a king, no. Slave of a king, it's not, it's an honor. But a slave of a slave is the biggest embarrassment. To serve a dog and clean his bathroom from the floor with your glove, when millions of people driving by and see you, right? Walking in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, serving him, taking him to the doctor like he's your little child. It means that you have a curse in your life. You have to serve the filthiest animal on earth. Chazal say, Kol ha-megadel kelev bebeto ki'ilu megadel chazir. Someone who raises a dog in his home, it's like raising a pig. How many of you would agree to clean the bathroom of the pig on the street? A pig, you don't need to clean after him, because whatever he makes, he eats after a minute. Now you understand why we're not allowed to eat pork? Because every animal, it takes 4 hours to digest their food. But the pig, it takes 24 hours to digest his food, and he eats bathroom. He eats all the exits of the babies, the diapers, everything you bring him, he eats. So since when they kill him, he still have all the food in his stomach. And it's absorbed into the veins, into the meat, into all the organs inside. And when they cut it, and you don't see how much germs and dirt there is inside. It's marinated in the worst things. That's why it's very juicy white meat, because of all the dirt in his stomach that was not digested at the time they killed him. Almost every other animal, between the time he ate his last meal until you kill him, it was already digested. So it's not so dangerous, especially for us when we put blood. When we put salt, we get rid of all the blood and the urine, so it makes the animal clean. Then you wash it, it's pretty clean. But with the pig, Hashem Yirachem. Plus, if you really pay attention, you have to pay attention very carefully. People that eat pork daily, they become exactly with the same face like a pig. Look in their face and you see a pig in their face. 100%. I don't want to say what nations love to eat pork 3 times a day, but look at their faces and that's how they look. You understand? And that's what's going on here. You see, everything we do influences society. Everything. I give you an example. 2 rabbis went to collect money. One kosher one and one not so kosher one. So the non-kosher one, he couldn't understand. We both have beard. We both have a sombrero. We both wear a long black kilt. Why the first one got 99% of the donations and the other one is complaining why he only got 1%? So he came to the people of that shul. He said, shame on you. My blood is not red. I'm less Jewish than him. My beard is not as impressive. We bought the hat for the same price. Why you give him 99% and you give me only 1%? What's the answer? So they answered, one smart guy in a crowd, he said to him like this. There's a rule that the person influence others to be like him. If he's good, he influence others to be good as him. If he's bad, he influence them to be bad. So the first one, since he doesn't want the money for himself, he wants to do mitzvot with that for others, so he influenced each one of us not to want the money for ourselves. That's why we give it out. But you, that you want the money for yourself, your influence on us is that we also want the money for ourselves. That's why we gave you nothing. You understand how it works? You eat pig, you become a pig. That's what's going on here. Yes, 100%. The Rambam received a letter from a community 850 years ago. Received a letter. In the old days, there wasn't internet. You type, boom, you send. Then a minute later, the rabbi answer you, allowed, not allowed, be careful. In the old days, you wanted an answer, 3 months you have to wait. Sometimes by the time you get the answer, you're dead already. That was it, that's what can you do? Why Hashem helped us that today you can reach a rabbi through a text message or an email? Why? Because there's not that many great big Talmidei Chachamim. There's only few in the world. And to get an authentic, good answer is very difficult because not every local rabbi can give you a straight, great answers according to Hashem's wish. In the old days, every person who had a question, every rabbi in a neighborhood was a giant. So he doesn't need a text. He just makes through his steps downstairs to the shul. He wouldn't know who to ask. This guy, that guy, this student, that. Everybody knows. So it's easy. You don't need email, text, telephones. You don't need. You go and you ask. Today, since it's impossible to find, finally when you find one, it's in the other side of the world. So Hashem gave us a discount. You can get an answer within an hour or two, or by the phone. That's how it goes. Mamash 100%. Same thing, they asked the Chafetz Chaim, why only now Hashem gave us the television? The radar, the television, the recording. There used to be big rolls with tapes. Remember the first recording, the first Charlie Chaplin movies? That's how it was. Fast speed. Why? So the Chafetz Chaim say, until now, every Jew knew that what the Torah said, there's an eye who watch over you, and there's a ear who listens to you, and everything you do is being recorded. Every Jew lived according to it. He was afraid of Hashem because he knew Hashem is watching. Now, when people starting to have doubts, does Hashem really watch? It doesn't seem like it. Rabbi, I'm not so sure. So Hashem wanted us to see video, television, video. You can see your bar mitzvah from 20 years ago. Look how I was eating in my bar mitzvah 20 years ago. It's possible to rewind your life, to see everything in a movie. Oh, so if it's possible here in this temporary physical world, needless to say, it's possible over there. So now it's realistic. That's what the Chafetz Chaim says. It's 100% true. Same Chafetz Chaim, when the guy asked him this question, he opened up his mouth. He was 83 years old. He said, check in my mouth. He looked inside. He said, you see one cavity? I said, no. He said, you know why I don't have cavities? So what would we say? Because you never ate candies, Rabbi. I know many people who don't touch candies and their whole mouth is full of cavities. Yeah. You know? It's in the genes. What can you do? So the Chafetz Chaim told him, I was so careful with my mouth never to say one word of Lashon Hara, so Hashem kept my mouth clean. No damages, no accidents. What do you think? Rabbi, I eat too much candies and Coke I drink. It ruins my teeth. True. But if you be 100% tzaddik, you put all your teeth in that Coke for 20 years, they still be there. But if you're not a tzaddik, after a minute, it's gone. Why? These teeth are speaking Lashon Hara every day. You know, you use the teeth to talk. If you take a person's teeth, you cannot understand what he is talking about. You know the older people, when they take their teeth out, they put it in a glass with the water. Try to talk to him, see if you understand one sentence. So you see, you need the teeth to talk. You're using the teeth to speak Lashon Hara about other Jews? Now you understand why the worms, the germs, starting to eat your teeth slowly, slowly. So they ask a Rambam a question. They say, Rabbi, can you prove to us that there is world after world, or life after life? There's going to be days of Mashiach, the resurrection of the dead, heaven, hell, all these questions that everybody wants to know. So the Rambam, he knew that all their questions is in the Gemara. So why are they asking me? The Gemara was 1,000 years before me. All the answers were all the questions were answered. Why you come to ask me something that it's already in the Gemara, in so many different places? That means you don't believe Chazal, the sages. You don't believe them. So the Rambam answered them an interesting answer. This is his answer. Tell me what's the connection. He wrote, they asked him, Rabbi, prove to us about the life after life, resurrection of the dead, heaven, hell, olam haba, all these questions. The Rambam answered, when a person eats non-kosher food, there's no connection. Soon you'll see the connection. When a person eats not kosher food, the food that he eats makes the blood. And the blood is in the liver. And from the liver it goes up to the heart. And from the heart it goes up to the brain. And the soul is in the brain. And because the blood is tameh, which means impure, it contaminates the entire soul. And what happens when a person's souls become impure? It's contagious. What happened? When they read the Torah, it looks the opposite of what it should be. Everything by them is the opposite. Who should you give tzedakah? Here or there? They're always going to give the wrong place. For instance, you come and say, I have an opportunity to give $1,000, Rabbi. So I have the Reform rabbi that eat pork on Yom Kippur and play the piano. He wants the $1,000. Or I have a kosher rabbi that wants to make 1,000 DVDs and make maybe 100 Jews Shomer Shabbos. Who do you think is going to give? The Reform rabbi. Rabbi, I daven by him. What can I do? I'm embarrassed. Right, then tomorrow I'm going to have to see him. Give you such stupid excuses. You don't know if to laugh or to cry. Still didn't make up my mind what to do first. So the Rambam says, by the way, you should know what the Rambam told them. It's very interesting because the three organs that the Rambam was talking about is brain, moach, in Hebrew, moach, mem. Heart is lev. And liver, it's kaved. Moach, mem. Heart, lev, lamed. Mem, lamed. Kaved, chaf, melech. When the brain is above the heart and the heart is above the liver, you are a melech. When it's the other way around, you name it. You become the worst thing on earth. What's the opposite of melech? Kelev. No, klum. Klum. Nothing. You become nothing. You're either a king or you're nothing. There's no in between. Why? Because the liver, that's where the blood becomes. It's the desires, all the food. And the heart is where the evil inclination is. And the brain is the soul. The soul is supposed to control all this. So if the heart is above the soul, which means you follow your feelings, not the truth of the Torah, you become nothing, no achievement. So the Rambam told them, when people eat non-kosher food, that's the impact of it. He didn't even touch their question. Why? Anyway, they won't understand. They eat non-kosher food, these people. I guess these people of that city, he knew that they're not makpid. They're not careful what they eat. You have to understand, sometimes people say, Rabbi, what is this? I only eat by the restaurant fish. But I make sure it's salmon. Rabbi, you know, I go to the diner, they charge $7 for the salmon. If I go to the Glad Kosher restaurant, they want $20 for the same piece of fish. What? There's any difference? It came from the same ocean or from the same pool in Chile, right? Or Canada. Why should I pay more? He just forgot that they cook it in the same stove or oven that they just cook the pork and the shrimps at the same time in different shelves inside the oven. That's he forgot. So actually he's eating salmon, but he's really eating pork. 100%. Not to talk about the salads and the leathers that have thousands of worms and all the rest. The Torah says like this. We hear it all the time. יש אדם קונה עולמו ברגע אחד. Sometimes a person can earn עולם הבא, can earn eternity in one moment. For us, we can be here 120 years, there's no guarantee. Before we close our eyes, we will not be able to swear if we have Olam Haba or not. We don't know. We hope. We want to do the right thing. But there's no guarantee. I cannot swear 100%. Sometimes one big mistake that a person does, Hashem Yirachem. You understand? So this is just to give you an example. Sometimes a person can lose his Olam Haba by one little sentence that he say to someone. You know, like I had a case, without saying names, that I wanted to do a kiruv activity in some city in Long Island. And there was one guy that he gave me the idea to come there. But over there, it's fancy people. You cannot just invite them and give them seltzer or something to drink. Over there, you have to give them Chinese, sushi, to attract them to come. So it costs money. Plus, you need to bring a lot of chairs. It's there's expenses over there. So you need a budget. So he came to one rich guy that he knows him very well to convince him to give a few $1,000s a month that will do activity. This guy, before he contacted me, for 10 years he went on 500 dates. 500 dates. That's his words to me. Hashem is my witness. You don't know who I'm talking about, so anyway, it's not relevant. Just want you to get the concept. 500 dates, not one of them wanted him. Nothing. So as soon as we got the approval that we're going to have the budget over there, I say to myself, now let's see how the Satan will ruin everything. Maybe 3-4 weeks we did some great activity over there, almost every night, bombing, great lectures, many people come. Big movement started. People start to keep Shabbat, we give CDs, we bring more new people. All of a sudden he told me I met a girl. So I knew that day that he called me, invited me to the engagement party. I knew that as soon as there will become official, day after the engagement, he will quit everything. Why? If a person went 10 years on 500 dates and nothing worked out, and all of a sudden he started to do some kiruv activity, 3 weeks later he gets a girl, what does it tell you? Come in, yeah. The Satan is willing to give him, the Satan is willing to give him a wife as long as he's not going to save souls. Take a wife, just quit. The next day he went to the rich guy and he told him, I'm not involved anymore. I'm going to Israel. You got it? I'm not involved anymore. We're going to Israel. So the rich guy, he knew him. He doesn't know me. He knew him. He's the one who got him to give the money. So he went and blew everything up. The rich guy cut the budget and everything died out over there. This guy for sure has no share to the world to come, no matter what he's going to do. For sure, he's finished. No matter how many mitzvot he's going to keep, Hashem will pay him in this life because there's no way to correct the damage that he made. Why? Every week, at least 20 Jews are not safe because of him. Multiply it by 1.5 years since it happened, and you tell me how many souls he murdered. So you can lose everything in 1 minute. You can lose everything. He called me on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur 20 times, begging for mechila. I told him, on my dead body, my friend, I'll never forgive you. Not only I won't forgive you, when we come to Olam Haba, I'll use all my merit to destroy you. Not for me. I don't need anything from you. For the Jews that are dead for eternity, that you murdered. You don't deserve any mercy. No, don't be like this. Don't be cruel. It's not fair. I made a mistake. Hashem punished me. Forgive me. I made a big mistake. I know it. I say, okay, you want mechila, correct the damage you made. What does it mean? You call somebody, say, forgive me, I murdered you and 1,000 Jews. Forgive me. What does it mean? Forgive me. No, my friend. What does it mean, forgive me? You have to sweat for forgiveness. Go and correct the damage. So how can I correct the damage? I say, go to the rich guy and tell him that you made a mistake. You want him to give the budget again, retroactive, from the day he stopped, that we're going to apply to all the new Jews that we never see now. Of course, he never did it. People are only great with words because it's cheap. It doesn't cost money. Well, when they have to do something, forget it. They're not going to do something to correct. I tell you something. One Rabbi in elementary school, one time in a class, he had a student that was doing pretty well. And I don't know, that student got him angry, and he started to attack him in front of the whole class with bad words. I don't know what he says, all kinds of bad words. He destroyed his confidence. From that moment on, that boy was never ever the same. He lost all his confidence. He fell in all his tests. He dropped out of yeshiva and became a nothing. One time, it came to the attention of that Rabbi that the person that he destroyed is not married, is not learning, is not working, is depressed at home for years already. Since he had a little bit Yirat Shamayim, that Rabbi, if he had a lot of Yirat Shamayim, he would never do to the boy what he did. But still, after the act, he has a little bit Yirat Shamayim. So he went to his house. He showed up after more than 10 years since he destroyed him. And he says to him, I know, I just realized what I did to you. I just realized now. I spoke to somebody and he told me about it. And he said, I came for you to forgive me. So the student said to him, nah, I'm sorry. There's no way to forgive you. You destroyed my life. You want me to forgive you? What do you think? It's hocus pocus? Right away I replace my heart in a minute with a new heart? Doesn't work that way. So he said, no, I understand that I have to do something for you. But you tell me, what do you want? So he told him, the only way I will forgive you if you will gather all the people of our class, more than 30 students, that almost all of them are married now, in different places, in different countries, some of them in America, some of them in Europe, some of them in the north of Israel, some of them in a center. So I want you to gather the entire class to a class where it happens, and in front of everybody, you bring me up, and you apologize to me in front of everyone, and you tell them the damage that you made me. If you do that, I'll forgive you from the bottom of my heart. He went to the biggest rabbi in the world. He said, Rabbi, what's the halacha? It will cost me $20,000 just airline tickets to bring all of them. I have to pay them for the days of work that they're going to lose. They're doing me a favor. I have to cover a lot of expenses here. They fly, they leave the business, you know, they have to bring us somebody to replace them. I calculated everything. After speaking to all of them, it came to $20,000. So the rabbi say, shame on you. You have a doubt? What you have to do? If it would be $2 billion, you would have to do it. What do you think? It's so simple to murder a soul? It's eternity. It's him, his children, grandchildren. When Cain murdered Hevel, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him, the bloods of your brother are screaming to me from the ground, not the blood. Chazal say, why bloods? Blood? No, it's children, grandchildren, grandchildren for eternity. You got to pay for all of them. Hashem Yerachem. Scary. Same thing if you save a soul. That's good. You save one, it becomes Baruch Hashem thousands. Why it says Kol hamatzil nefesh achad? If you save one soul, it's count like you saved the whole world. Why? The whole world. Because one person became a world. Adam, what he became? 6.4 billion people. You save a Jew today, 5,000 years later, even though the world is close to an end, but, you know, just as an example, in 5,000 years, that person that you save will become 6 billion people. Think about it. That's what we're talking here about. So, the Gemara says, Yesh Adam koneh olamo berega achad. The Gemara gives an example. How a person can save his eternity in 1 minute. The Gemara brings a story about a guy, his name was Ktiya bar Shalom. Ktiya. Ktiya in Hebrew means to cut. To chop a piece from a body, like the arm or the finger. It's called liktoa. To cut. Chop a piece. Or chop the table to pieces. That's called liktoa. Ktiya bar Shalom. So it means, the name indicates that he was cut, and he also have peace. That's the name. This goy. What was the story with this goy? In the time when the Romans were in Israel, the king called all the advisors to give him an advice what to do with the Jews. Because he occupied the whole world, and now there's a little nation here, weird, strange, they have a temple, they behave different, they dress different, they speak different. It's not like the rest of the world. The rest of the world, all the goyim are the same. Every country he went, same kind of people. Over here he saw strange people. He doesn't know what to do with them, to kill them, not to kill them. So he asked them, if a person has a nemek is like, that means there's no blood goes into the leg, and after a while they have to chop the leg. If not, it will spread to the rest of the body. So he said, if a person has it, what do you suggest that we should do? Should we chop his leg from the knee down and prevent the spreading of the problem? Or should we stretch the problem as much as we can until one day it's going to go to the rest of the body and he die, but at least he has 2 legs. He can function. That's what he asked. Everybody obviously understood what he's talking about. The body is the whole world, and the nemek, the problem, the growth, is the Jews. So what do you do with the growth? You cut it off, no? Sometimes, or sometimes you just leave it, and you live until as much as you can. One guy came to Rav Moshe Feinstein and said, Rabbi, I have the cancer, the disease, lo alenu. It's an epidemic now, almost in every family. So the doctors gave me 2 options. 6 months to live good, with no weaknesses, no problems, and to die, or 2 years with chemo chemo, but 2 years of hell, you know, like I'm going to suffer a lot. But 6 months, no suffering, nothing. So he told him 2 years with suffering is better than 6 months without suffering. So he said, why, Rabbi? I don't mind, I'll die. I'll make tshuva and I die. I don't want to suffer. So he told him, do you understand how much a person earns in every day of life? Tzitzit, every second mitzvah, right? Kippah, mitzvah. Every word of Torah, every letter is mitzvah. Tefillin, mitzvah. Kriyat Shema morning and evening, 2 mitzvot. Birkat Hamazon 3 times a day, 10 mitzvot. Birkot HaShachar, 3 times prayers. You add so many mitzvot a day. Can you compare 6 months to 24 months? Go tell the doctors that this is the way. So he went to the doctor. The doctor was a Jew, but anti-religion. An atheist. I never understand how a doctor can be an atheist. They should be the most religious people on earth. From how many billions of miracles they see every week in a human's body, they're cold as ice. Hard to believe. You know how many... Read. If you go to medical school, first day in medical school, you have to be a rabbi. Just from what you learn in the first day. About the blood, about the body, the oxygen, how it goes to the lung, how the body, how complicated is the body. You see such a thing and you not become a servant of Hashem, of the creator of this amazing machine? How to believe? The Torah says, "Mi besari echeze Eloah." Reviewing my body, I see God. I don't see my body. I see the creator. If I see a painting of Picasso, I see Picasso. I don't see a painting. I see $104 million on the wall. Now, that's not because it's a nice painting. That's because the world is full of idiots. That's my opinion. You don't have to agree. Not to talk about the statue that one Jewish woman bought for $105 million. If you see it in the garbage, you wouldn't pick it up. Trust me when I tell you. I wish I could make that test. Put it in a garbage somewhere out in one of the houses here, and I promise you, nobody will pick it up. That's how ugly it is. $105 million. So anyway, when he went to the doctor and he said that this was the answer of the rabbi, he shocked him. Believe it or not, the doctor became religious. Because the doctor finally realized the value of life, which he didn't realize before. Oh, to suffer, it's war. According to Judaism, it's better to suffer every minute because every hour will never return. You can earn everything in an hour. You know how much a person can do in an hour? One time the yeshiva volunteered to say Tehillim and to make mitzvot for one guy that was sick. His life was in a risk. So they came to one of the rabbis and said, Rabbi, we all donate from our mitzvot to the sake of that patient. What do you donate? This guy donates 10 pages of Gemara. This girl will read the whole Tehillim. This guy is giving $200 for poor people. Everyone does something for him. Donation. Spiritual donation. What would you donate, Rabbi? So the rabbi thought, he said, I'm going to donate 1 minute of my Torah that I'm learning. And he learns 20 hours a day, so he donates 1 minute of his Torah. So that student got upset, Rabbi, I donate a day, he donated a week, she donated 10 Sifrei Tehillim. That's the best you can do, 1 minute? So he told him, what do you think? I'm joking? Do you know how much I do in a minute? You know what it is? What a sacrifice it is for me to give him a minute of my life? For me, a minute worth a lot. Like my son told me yesterday, we were learning Mishnayot on Shabbat. There was 20 minutes to Mincha, and we have to finish the whole perek. So he said, let's learn after Mincha. So I said, why? You have 20 minutes now. He said, no, there's no time. What are we going to do? I said, 20 minutes? We have no time. We can do a few Mishnayot. What do you mean we don't have time? So we do whatever we can, and then we continue. People don't appreciate time. Don't appreciate time. Sitting, watching television, watching sport all day. All this stupid long basketball game, 3 hours watching some fools jumping with a piece of leather, throwing it into a net, and screaming, crying, wow, I saw the Mashiach. Not to talk about all the gambling and all the avodah zarah around it, and traffic, 3 hours to get to the stadium, stand on the rain. What is this sport? What is it? A way to humiliate one another in a legal way. And you get paid for it. You take a person, you score a goal, let's say soccer game. You score a goal, they cry, you're happy. You humiliate them, everybody cheer for you, and you get paid for it. Everything against the Torah, Tarbut Yavan. The culture of the Greeks. That's the word sport come from the city Sparta. 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 Sport, Sparta. They invented it. You know, there used to be a game 2,300 years ago when the Greeks were in power, the Greek Empire. Sparta against Athens. Athens, that's how you say it in English. Sparta against Athens. So one old man came with a cane. He's walking, hardly walking. So he's looking for a place to sit in a stadium. One side of the stadium is Athens fans. The other side is Sparta fans. So he goes to the side of his team. Athens, nobody rise to give him his chair. The old man is tired, you know, give him a chair to sit. Nobody gives him a chair. So, okay, my own people don't care about me. Let me go to my enemies. Let's see what they do. So he goes to the other side, to the Sparta fans. Many of them, hey, old man, come, get my chair. Come, sit. So when one of the guys gave him his chair, the people of Athens, they all rise and clap for the beautiful deed. So from here, we learn a musar. A person is very good about preaching and appreciate other people's deeds, but when it comes to him, leave me alone, Rabbi. I had one Yemenite guy, every week he brings me 300 people. I don't know how he finds all these Israelis. He has connection under the ground. Like rats, he brings all of them from all corners. And when I used to talk to him, don't start with me. No, me you leave. I'll bring you the guys, you attack them. Me you leave alone. If you're going to start going after me, I'm canceling everything. You know what? When a person tells me, you leave me alone, right away I want to attack him more. That's how it is. It's like somebody bring you into a house with 60 bedrooms. Everything is for you, just this room, don't enter. What's the first thing he does? He enters that room. Chafetz Chaim brought two of his wife's friends, two yentes, you know, in their 70s. And he say to his wife, I'm going to tell you an amazing secret. But he says to the women, make sure you don't tell anybody. It's a big secret. No one is allowed to know. Now, he wanted the whole town to know in 1 minute. So he told the two women, make sure you don't tell anybody. I trust you, So he told them something, and he said to his wife, okay, consider it done. Everybody knows. Before Shabbos, everybody will know. The one more thing, somebody came to the Chafetz Chaim and said, Rabbi, this one guy speaks Lashon Hara against you all the time. Such a nice person, tzaddik like you, somebody there says, kill me. I'm ready to kill this guy. I can't take this. Well, the Chafetz Chaim says, very strange. I don't remember I did any special favor to that guy. What did he say? Did you get it or no? When you owe something to somebody, the Satan is putting more efforts for you to go against him, because there's a much bigger sin. If you're ungrateful to a person that you owe nothing to, somebody made a very, very small favor to you, you really don't know him that much, and you are ungrateful to him, no, that's not the end of the world, because after all, you don't owe him that much. But somebody who saved your life, and you go against him, that's already a big tragedy, it's a big disaster. The Satan is not interested in small sins. He wants to bury you all the way, as deep as possible. So when somebody did a favor to you, you will feel that you have a strong desire to go and take actions against him, more than somebody that you don't know anything. That's the Yetzer Hara. Same thing, you take a guy that goes to the clubs to make scenes with the ladies, and you bring him two identical twins, one married and one single, and check from 100 how many will go with the single and how many will go with the married. If you have one that chose the single, come to let me know. Identical twins. Why? When the Satan wants to bury you in a sin, why a single? A married one is a much bigger sin, Eshet Ish. It's almost impossible to make tshuva for it. Almost impossible. I know a few guys that used to do it. They made tshuva, 20 years they're religious, and they don't get married. And they're handsome and rich and everything, and now they're religious also. Good people. Blocked. Why? Very big sin. It's not a joke. Rabbi, married, but she separated from her husband already for 2 years. Rabbi. In Shamayim, the husband and wife, the souls are connected. You know, when somebody lost something, a Jew lost an item on the floor. If he gave up, it's called Yeush. Desperate. It's gone. Like money. Let's say $100 fell in Fifth Avenue. 2 minutes later, he gives it up. He knows there's no chance to find it. After he gave up in his mind, in his psychology, it's permitted for you to take it and enjoy from it. You're going to have blessing in it. But if his heart is still connected to that item and you pick it up, you're a thief. That's the halakha. Oh, so how do you know? It's depend on the item. If it's an item that doesn't have a sign, there's no way to give a sign. No way to give a sign. Like money. Money, there's no sign. There's so many. Everybody knows how money looks. Everybody can come and say, it's my money. Go and prove it now. So when a person loses money, he gives up right away. Why? Because he knows there's no sign. I cannot describe the money. But when a person lost a special discman, so he has a sign. He can say Sony, he can say a different company, he can say it was scratched, the battery side is broken, the wire is cut. There's signs. So if a person comes and says, did somebody find here a Discman? I lost it, MP3 player, whatever. So they ask him what brand, he say the brand. What model, he say the model. What color, what songs are inside. So that's a sign, you know, it's his. But it also depends where you lose. If you lose it in the area where it's mostly Jews, then if you find an item in an area that is mostly Jews, you cannot enjoy from it. Why? He never gave up yet. Because you know, Jews returning. I'm talking religious Jews. If a person lost a book in Muncie, and his name is there, even a year later he doesn't give up. Because you know, one day somebody will call me, find it in a shul and call me. It happens to me once that I lost my Siddur, and I wrote a lot of my Torah Chidushim inside. I lost it in one of the shuls there, that there's minyanim one after the other. 4 months, every day I go to that place in the morning to daven Shachrit, I search all over, I don't find it. I don't care about the $10 of the Siddur, but the things that I wrote, I want to get it, I want to find it back. So it's there for 4 months. I cannot find it. I looked all over. I looked where there's lost items. I upstairs, downstairs in the basement. I asked the Gabayim. I check everywhere. I cannot find it. After 4 months, one guy from Montreal, one Sephardi guy came from Montreal. If he was looking for Sephardi Siddur, he found that. He saw my name. He called me up. He said, I found your Siddur here. Can I pray with that? I said, yeah, pray with that, but make sure you give it back. So don't worry where you are. Oh, it's 1 block where I'm staying for Shabbos. He came to me, and in the end we became friends. We became friends. And now, you know, now all of a sudden we're friends. So he recommended me to some guys in Montreal. So I already went there, and now I'm invited there again in 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now. One thing leads to another. I never gave up on that Siddur. So if a person would take that Siddur, it would be a thief. Why? I'm still connected to it with my heart. There's no Yeush. Yeush Ba'alim, that's what it calls. The Gemara in Baba Metzia speaks about it. Anyway, so Ktia Bar Shalom, which you already forgot about him, the Goy, he came and all the advisor of the king say, you have to cut the growth. You have to cut it. If not, it spreads to all the body. But Ktia Bar Shalom knew that he's talking about the Jews. He said, no, it's not good to cut the growth. Because the king wanted to know if to kill the Jews or not. The Jews are a growth in the entire world. So let's kill them, like this we're cutting the growth out. So he told him, no, it's not good in this case to cut the growth. You know why? Because the whole world for history, forever, will say that you couldn't defeat that nation, so you killed them. You're afraid of them. Such small nation, all the world you left alive. This little nation without an army, without anything, you had to kill them? That means you're afraid of them. It will ruin your reputation. Plus, your kingdom will not be complete. If you cut a piece from the body is missing an organ, a part. So the king told him, you know what? You really spoke nicely, and you convinced me. You convinced me. But somebody who answered the king in public must be killed. So take him to choke him. How they used to kill people? They used to take them to a special house. They put them inside, and they take shovels with sand, and they throw sands there. And all the dust comes out, and the person cannot breathe. After 5 minutes that he breathes the sand, that's it. He chokes, and he dies. So on the way there, they holding him, and they taking him to die. There was one fancy Goya woman, also non-Jewish. She stands over there, and she wants to tell him something, but she's afraid that they'll kill her also. So she started to sing a song. Isn't it a shame that a boat comes all the way across the ocean and it gets to the port and forgot to bring enough money to pay the duty that they can enter their merchandise to the land? What a shame. Now they have to go all the way back 3 months to their country to get more money and return back again 3 months. She's singing a song. Now this guy is clever. He knows all of a sudden she's singing me about a boat. She's giving me a message here. What was her message to him? What a fool you are. You saved the Jews from death, and you didn't even convert. At least you convert, you have a share to the world to come with them. Now you're going to die as a goy. What is your olam haba? It's going to be very limited. So he got the point. How you convert? You circumcised. So as soon as the guards didn't pay attention, he took a sharp rock, and he circumcised himself right there. And he said, I paid my duty. The Gemara says, an echo came from heaven. Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi was standing there, the president of Israel. We wouldn't hear it if we'd be there. But the big Chacham, the perfect Chacham, he lived 120 years. Full life. Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi, and he wrote the Mishnah. He was a perfect human being. The Gemara says he was deserved to be Mashiach. If Hashem wanted to bring Mashiach in this generation, for sure it was him. Because he was also from the descendants of David HaMelech. He's a grandson of David HaMelech, about 1,000 years after David, generation after generation. Plus he's the biggest Chacham, and he's the wealthiest guy, everything. Perfect midot, everything. We didn't have the merit. So anyway, he started to cry. So Rabbi, why are you crying? So I just heard that they announced in heaven that this guy is welcome with honor to life of eternity. And how much I'm going to sweat all my life, and I'm not even sure that I'll get there. We are sure that we are there first row, VIP. Each one of us. Rabbi, what are you talking about? I put tefillin every day. I say, Shema, I keep Shabbos. What else do you want? Wake up, my friend. There's a lot to do. Adam la'amal yulad. You understand Hebrew? What does it mean, Adam la'amal yulad? The only way I created you is to work very hard here, spiritually. Not to go to sell cars all day in the office. To sweat every day. Tefillah, and this, and again, and kosher, not kosher, and learning, and this, and learning again. Raising children to Torah, being a good husband. Come on. Think it's a joke? One of the hardest things today, before you become religious or not, before we talk about religion, is first to be a human being. Because society is very corrupted. Very corrupted. People are crooks, hypocrites, everyone's pretending, people are lazy, people are arrogant, people have anger, people are stingy, people speak lashon hara, no emunah, no faith, everybody stabbed everybody in their back. That's what's going on today. Finally, you want to put your kids in yeshiva, even the yeshiva giving you hell. No, it's not enough, you have to pay $22,000. What do you want? I'm a teacher, I have 7 kids, I cannot pay $20,000 for each one of them a year. You want me to rob banks? No, you have to understand. It's very difficult. Really, it's difficult to be a kosher Jew. You need a lot of mercy from Hashem to have mercy on you, that you'll be able to do the mandatory thing. One of the hardest things today to do is peace in a family. Peace in a family. To be a good wife and to be a good husband is very difficult. Very, very difficult. It's matters of ego, of anger, of pride, of all kinds of money issues. But what is the worst problems in marriage life, in a Jewish marriage life in this generation? The biggest jeopardy to a married couple in their life, that almost destroying every good family. What is it?
Money.
What is it? No, think again. TV for sure. I'm not talking not religious people. I'm talking religious people. TV, it's a poison. You eat poison every day. What do you expect? I'm talking somebody who keeps mitzvot. Two religious couple. It's a religious couple. What's today became their biggest danger? You won't believe it. Their parents. Their parents. From both sides. The parents destroying almost all the marriages. The parents destroying all the marriages. Many of the marriages are destroyed because the parents are very foolish. They have no idea about Torah. They grew up very primitive. They don't know anything. They don't know what Hashem wants. They know what they learned in a village somewhere where they came from. Iran, Iraq, Bukhara, Kafkaz, Syria. Everyone with this primitive lifestyle. And all of a sudden they make some money here in America, so they feel they're big shots. And they start torturing their kids. What kind of man you are? What kind of woman you are? I'm your father. Why you listen to your husband? What's going on here? I had a couple in Brooklyn, 6 months married. Mamash, a couple from the magazine. And also nice people. Nice girl, nice guy. Everything fine. He makes a living. Everything is fine. 6 months later, he calls me up. Tomorrow I'm going to the rabbis to give her a get. As my last option, out of frustration, I'm calling you up. I said, what happened? He said, you have no idea what's going on here. You have no idea. From the minute I married her, her parents made my life hell. Hell, mamash, every second. They come, they open the closet, they check how much food we have, they open the fridge, your husband is stingy, why he doesn't buy food, why always your fridge is empty, why you don't even have 20 tuna cans for emergency, all kinds of stupid things. Or one time her car broke, so for 3 days he didn't have time to take it to the mechanic. He goes to work, he has a little boot. So what happened? After 3 days that she doesn't have a car, her parents wanted her to come, so she said, my car is broken. Still broken? You see? What a husband you have. We told you not to marry him. Look, he doesn't care about you. If you would be his car, he would fix it in 2 minutes. They want to get divorced. Baruch Hashem, he was clever to call me, and I went there and finally educate them what marriage is. The Torah says, once you are married, your parents are the last thing on your mind. It's your wife or your husband. That's it. That's the one that you're going with to Olam Haba. Not your father, not your mother. Ve'azav et aviv ve'imo ve'davak be'ishto. Translation, you left your father and your mother and you stick to your wife. That's it. They cannot interfere with your marriage life. Nothing whatsoever. There's no respect to them. If they tell you to be angry or to be cruel to your wife or not to give her, you're giving her too much, why are you buying her, why you bring her a maid, all these things, you're not allowed to listen to them. They are in both ways. Both ways. If the parents of the girl tell her things against her husband, she's not allowed to listen to them.
No, I mean that your wife does a negative thing from her husband. Because she's valuable and she doesn't make him do good things.
They should have worried about it before they got married. Now when they got married, they have to work it out. You're not supposed to marry a girl that has a negative influence on your spirituality. If you do it, for whatever reason, you pay the price later on. But once they got married, that's it. You got to do everything to build a relationship. Even wicked people, while they're married, they can become better. Marriage can improve both. What do you think? If they work together in a smart way with an advice of a good rabbi that gives them the right advice, they can build up a wonderful house. I've seen in Monsi, Baalei Tshuva that had no direction. Once you give them the right direction, that's it. You never heard from them anymore. For years, everything finally is working. System is working. They have to learn. They don't know. I always say that in my lectures in the past. If I had the money and the time, first thing I would do, it costs a lot of money, is to open a college. Which college? Not to become lawyers and doctors. There's plenty of colleges that suck your blood and take away your money for this nonsense. That in the end you cannot even find a job with all your degrees. I'm not talking this kind of phony colleges. I'm talking a real college. 2 things I would teach in college. 2 things. How to become a husband or wife, different classes, before the marriage. Everybody who would want to marry, I would make a rule that they must get a certificate. They have to pass tests. If they fail, they cannot get married. They cannot have permission to get married. Why? Because it's a nightmare. To get married not ready, it's a disaster. It's like going to be a banker in a stock market and taking $1 million and invest. You don't know even who Citibank is. You want to make money? What's going on with you? You know, you want to be a father raising children when you yourself an animal? How can you raise a child when you behave like a monkey? How? What do you bring him to the world to see how you scream and do all crazy things and curse every second word and watch the stupid things on television? Don't you have mercy on the boy? There's no permission to bring kings to the world if you're an animal. No permission. Don't touch your wife. Better not to have kids. Why to have kids that they'll be on the streets like zombies? Look at the kids today. Go here in Queens, see what's going on here. Go in a neighborhood, see what's going on with our teenagers. How they smoke, how they talk, how they stay until 2 o'clock at night, and the parents, they have no control on them. Poor parents have no control. Why is it? One person came to the Chafetz Chaim, he said, Rabbi, my son is 6 years old. When should I start educating him? He told him 20 years before he was born. You got it or no? First educate yourself, then you worry about him. You worry about him. If we want to educate ourselves, plus the kids in this generation are very clever. You cannot fool them. The world is very open now. Everybody knows everything. Cannot fool them. It's not like it used to be a ghetto and the kids don't know anything, only Torah and finished. Now they know everything. They hear everything. They hear, oh, if your father raised your hand on him, dial 911. Don't be afraid. One girl, she became Shomer Shabbat. She started to become religious, and then she met a goy. A Chinese goy, Chinese American, full of tattoos. Some DJ in a club. That's the damages of colleges. What do you think? Why it's dangerous to go to college? There's thousands of cases like this every year. Thousands of Jewish kids and boys and girls go to destruction because of all these colleges. Why? They want to get a job that they make $50,000 a year. So because they want to make $50,000 a year, they ended up marrying Christine. That's what's happening today. But anyway, so the girl, she goes up with the guy, and her parents are broken-hearted, and they do everything they can to separate between them, and that's it, you know. She fell in love, you know. She fell. Here she calls. She's calling now. Neuer, the mother. Why. Anyway, so now the uncle called her up one time, 2 o'clock at night. Where are you? She said, I'm at home. He said, why are you lying? I'm outside of your home and I don't see your car. What, you following me? What is this? Now you, not enough that they give me problems, now it's you. The next day, you got arrested. Why? She has a psychologist, of course, a Jewish liberal. And the Jewish liberal, that she claims she's religious. I cannot get how it's possible, but she claimed that she's religious, a psychologist. She told her, call the police and complain about your uncle that he's harassing you. He got arrested, the poor, nice person that wants to save her soul. She put him in jail, father of kids. After he was always nice, all her life like her second father to her. You understand what's going on today? Go and raise children. If you do not know how to behave, it's a big problem, I'm telling you. Most of you are young here, not even married. If you're not going to start preparing now, just because you meet a girl and you like her and she's beautiful, doesn't mean you're ready to be a husband and wife. It's not so simple. You know, after K'tia Bar Shalom went to heaven, the Chazal brings another example. How a person earn eternity in 1 minute. Well, we're going to sweat here 100 years and he's going to do it in 1 minute. So they give a mashal. You know what a mashal is? An analogy. They bring an analogy. What is it? It says like this. Two people are neighbors. The wicked guy lives in a house, and the righteous guy lives in the attic. There's a second floor in the attic with separate stairs. So there's two neighbors, wicked Jew and a righteous Jew. So, for many years, the righteous person is very strict, and the wicked person, Hashem Yirachem, the worst you can think of. One day, the wicked guy say, it's been years that I disciplined myself, and I do not enjoy from this world at all. I only learn and I do mitzvot, and I neglected my body completely. No pleasure. Maybe today I'm going to take a time out, and I'll enjoy this world a little bit. He's thinking to himself. In the meantime, at the same time, the wicked guy downstairs starting to think, for years I live like an animal. Maybe one day I'm going to become like my neighbor and take a book and learn Torah. Maybe I'll call him to teach me Torah. So now the guy, the righteous one, thinking, maybe I will join my neighbor downstairs and watch the game. There's a game tonight. So I enjoy, I eat with him some non-kosher food. For one day, I'll relax. And the wicked guy is thinking, maybe I go up and learn some musar with my neighbor. So as they decided to do something, they have a ladder. So they both climb on a ladder. The wicked guy went all the way up, half, and the righteous guy went half. When they both met in the middle of the ladder can hold only one person. So it broke, they both fell down and died. That's the mashal. So the Gemara say, the righteous one, in 1 minute died wicked, because he was on the way to Avirah. The last act of his life, he died wicked. That's the stamp. Died Rasha. So he lost everything in 1 minute. The one from the bottom was on the way up to make tshuva, even for 1 day. Died tzaddik. This guy sweat for 70 years to be tzaddik. In the middle, he kicked the bucket, all the water spilled. And the other one got it in a minute. Of course, that's an exaggeration. It's a mashal. It didn't happen for real. But it's just for us to know how easy a person can lose everything, or chas v'shalom, make one stupid mistake. That's it. It's very difficult to correct. Before a person attacks his friend when he's angry, his friend, his parents, his kids, his wife, her husband, everybody has problems with people. Always have to stop before he talks to think about two things. What are the two things a person must think before he opens his mouth? Two things. And most of the time, 99.9% of the time, once he thinks about those two things, he won't make a beep. It will save him from the sin. What is it? What are the two things?
Where it came from?
First one is what I'm going to say to her or to him is 100% true. Is it the truth or only 80% the truth? If it's not the truth, how can I say it? And what's the second thing? How would I feel if he would tell me the same thing I'm about to tell him? Once you think about these two things, you never said anything to anyone. Never. You never had a fight all your life. Never had a fight. The Yetzer Hara, Chazal say it's like a fly. Zvuv. How do you say zvuv in English? Fly, no? Fly. Why zvuv? When a fly comes and stands on your hand, it does not make any damage. It can come 10 times an hour, you make him fly. That's it. When the fly can kill you? When you have an open wound. Because it's full of germs. It was just by somebody else's germs. So he comes now on your blood. The one microscopic germ that he brought from one sick person and put it on your blood, chas v'shalom, you can get the disease. Same thing, Yetzer Hara, evil inclination. The evil inclination cannot touch you when you close yourself to the world, to the illusions around you. Once you open a window, he comes inside, you're finished. It's called Lapetach Chatat Rovetz. There's a pasuk. Lapetach Chatat Rovetz. Every entrance that you make, every window, every door that you open, the Yetzer Hara is standing right there like a dog. You know those dogs? They sit by the door, waiting for the opportunity. As soon as you open, he runs inside. Nothing you can do. Go and find him. Before we finish, and maybe I give you some time for questions. One rabbi went to be a sandak in a brit. A sandak. Why many people want to be sandak? I'm not talking those who want honor. Oh, I was chosen from all the people. I'm not talking about this kind of people. I'm talking a person that was chosen to be a sandak. Why people sometimes even pay money to be sandak? Why? Because the Torah says that it's gula le'ashirut. It's able to make you wealthy. If you hold the baby in the time of the brit, it's gula le'ashirut. No, בסדר. So anyway, so the rabbis see 2 hours, 3 hours after Shachrit, they don't bring the baby. It's already 12 o'clock soon. So the brit was supposed to be 8 o'clock in the morning. What's going on here? So he asked the people, where is the baby? So they say, we are holding the baby on hold. So why? He says, his father is dying. Should die any minute. So they're waiting for the father to die, that they can name the baby after the father, that his memory will not be forgotten. That's why the delay. So the rabbi said, no, the opposite. You should hurry up, bring the baby right away, we'll do the brit and the father will be better. So rabbi is in a desperate case. That's it. So he told them, it's a true story. This is a true story that happened. He told them, when a poor person is sick in town, we don't have the ability to bring a specialist doctor from far away just for the poor person. Why? Look at his life. Who's going to pay all the expense to bring this big shot doctor? For him, nobody will bother. But if a millionaire will become sick in the same town with the same sickness, for him, of course, we'll bring the doctor. No, he's an important president. Once the doctor comes to cure the wealthy, he cures the poor as well. He's already in the neighborhood. He didn't come specially for him. So the poor guy got saved. Why? Because he came for the rich guy. Same thing here, he told them. We don't have the ability to bring Eliyahu Hanavi and Malach Raphael to cure this father. Who are we? To bother the angel to come specially just for him. The angel of cure. But since we're going to make the brit, they come for the baby, that's their job. While they're already here, they cure the father. Quick! An hour after the brit, the father opened up the eyes. True story that happened. When you know Torah, it can be life and death. It's not a joke. In Shchunat HaBukharim, in a Bukharian neighborhood in Yerushalayim, there was one person that have a sickness that is very, very rare. Very rare. And there's one doctor that is a specialist. And we're talking this story more than 60 years ago. When people, most of them were very, very poor. Today, most of the people there anyway are poor. But in 60 years ago, forget it. If you find one wealthy guy in a whole area, it's a miracle. So the poor guy has no chance to get cured. Nobody, there's no way. There's no health insurance, nothing. There's no way to bring that doctor just for him. It's a disaster. Then after a few weeks, that he's already dying slowly, slowly, one very rich guy, one of the only rich guys in Yerushalayim, got the same disease. Same disease, amazing. It's very rare disease. 2 people in the same town, mamash a miracle. So they brought the doctor for him, his family, and he treated the rich guy and he treated that poor guy. The poor guy got saved and the rich guy died. Story that happened 6 years ago. I have written the names of the rabbi. He was a rabbi, father to 13 kids. The doctor came on the expense of the rich family. They pay his flight, everything. He came. And in the end, he cured the poor guy and the rich guy died. So Hashem wanted to kill the rich guy for different reasons, but the poor guy was supposed to get saved. So he gave the rich guy the same sickness that he will bring the specialist to cure him. Why? Because all the miracles that Hashem does, he hide inside the nature. Hashem could have cured him without the doctor. He would drink Persian tea and get up. Hashem doesn't need this Chinese doctor to come. But Hashem does it in a way, there's no Hashem. Not to ruin the free choice. That's the test. That's the test. That's how it goes. We said, Hine ein Hashem. Here is the eye of Hashem. El Yereav. To those who are fearful from Him. Lam yachalim lechasdo. those who are searching for His chesed, for His mercy. The eyes of Hashem is aiming to who? To those who play football and baseball every Sunday in a park. You took me serious, I see. Or you're all falling asleep. One of the two. The eyes of Hashem, believe me, doesn't go to the football field. I promise you. The eyes of Hashem, El Yereav, to those who fear Him. Lam Yachalim Lechasdo, those who are searching and waiting for His chesed, for His kindness. La'atzil mimavet nafsham, to save their soul from death. Ulechayotam bara'av, and to revive them in hunger. What's the secret in this verse? There's a secret here. What does it mean, Ein Hashem? The letter Ayin, how do you write Ayin? Like the eye. The letter Ayin, Ayin, it's an eye. Ayin, it's the letter Ayin. Ayin, Yud, and Nun. That's Ayin. Here the pasuk speaking about the eyes of God. The eye of God. But what's the secret? The eye is also the letter Ayin. So Hashem says, I'm giving the letter Ayin to my righteous Jews, to these rabbis, to these Talmidei Chachamim that are righteous. So what is my gift to them? The letter Ayin. What do I need the letter Ayin now for? What am I going to do with that? Make a necklace? Huh? What is it saying here? Why? Because how do you write death in Hebrew? Mavet. Mem, Vav, Taf. The righteous people, the Torah says, when chas v'shalom, a person in your house is sick and in a life risk, before you run to the doctor, run to the chacham. Chole bebeto, yarutz l'chacham, shivakesh alav rachamim, to pray for him. Before he runs to the doctor. When Atzala is still on the way, if you have a rabbi next to you, run to him first. He can save you sometimes more before the doctor. Why? Because Hashem pays special attention to this guy. And if he will make the request, it's like knowing the judge in court. You know, the lawyer is a big shot. When he comes from your lawyer, the judge is willing to consider. But if you want, the judge say, get out of here, I'm tired. Yalla, goodbye. Ah, but you brought that big shot lawyer. Ah. So the judge play golf with him every Monday, you know. What is he going to say to him now? Friends, no? So the righteous people are very close to Hashem. Hashem says, oh, you know what? I owe you. You're learning, you're doing, you're devoting your time for me. Finally, you need a favor. You're asking, I got to do it. So that's how it works. But here is the secret. Mavet, what happened when you add the letter Ayin to the word Mavet? What it becomes? Ma'ot, money. That's why the Torah says, Tzedakah tatzil mimavet. Sometimes a person is supposed to die, or his children not, God forbid, or somebody in the family, he gives a big amount of money for good cause of tzedakah, everything turns around. Also, there's one thing, believe it or not, I saw in one of the books, that chas v'shalom, when a person is sick, there's a way to sell the sickness to a goy, to a non-Jew, if he agrees to buy it. You come to him and say, I want to sell you my sickness. Would you buy it? How would you buy it? I'm giving you money to take it. How much you want to take my sickness from me? So the guy thinks you're crazy. These Jews are stupid. I'll give you $300. Would you take it from me? So the guy, imagine this guy is half homeless on the street. He runs. Excuse me, come, Mustafa, come. I have a gift for you. Here, right, sign here, I give you $300. What is this? You're signing that you're buying, chas v'shalom, the cancer for me. Would you agree? So, how can I buy it? So that's the whole thing. You want to take $300 and sign? Sign. Why am I telling you this story? Because we knew one boy that had it. And he was very, very sick. His father didn't work for 6 months in a hospital, morning and evening, the father and the mother. Disaster. I told that to the neighbor. The neighbor was really want to help this family. He's a religious guy, Baal Tshuva. So I told him, you know, ask a guy. If the guy agreed to buy it, sell it to him. He can get away from him to him. So he found one guy that working in the neighborhood, in one of the stores. So the guy said, really, man? You crazy? You're giving me $300? Say, yeah, just sign here. But remember, I'm telling you, you buy it, it can come to you. Say, come on, this nonsense, you Jews are crazy. Come, give me the money. He signed. A week after, he disappeared. He comes to the store and says, where is he? He called, he's very sick, he's in the hospital. It's not a joke. The power of speech is tremendous. The power of speech, you have no idea. You know when they opened the first cemetery in Petach Tikva? The first cemetery in the city of Petach Tikva in Israel? More than 100 years ago. When they walked to the place, there was no graves yet. They just dig some graves. They prepared the place to become a cemetery. But the place looked very nice. Green, trees. So one of the guys says, wow, what a beautiful cemetery. I feel like I want to be there. He was the first person who was buried there. That's a famous story. So what? It's such a beautiful cemetery because it was all new, nice. They made it. They just made it. He was the first one who got buried there in that cemetery. Power of speech is dangerous. Very dangerous, not just dangerous. Not only speech, even a bad thought that a person thinks about himself can bring him bad luck and change his fortune. We said in the pasuk, "Ki bi chashak va'afalteu, hasagbeu ki yada shmi." We say it every Motzei Shabbos. Sounds familiar, this pasuk to you? Ki bi chashak va'afalteu, hasagbeu ki yada shmi, imo anochi batzara. Hashem say, when a Jew is in a problem, it's my problem. It's personally my problem. I suffer with him. If he suffer 80 degrees, I suffer 80 degrees. If he suffer 50%, I suffer mamash the same pain. Spiritual pain. The agony of the sickness, or of the problems, or money lost, or whatever it is. So you may ask, what's the secret when we pray to Hashem to get saved of all our problems? So I'll teach you a secret now. What's the secret? When we finish Tfilat Shmona Esrei, for those who pray every day, the last paragraph is, we say, יהיו לרצון אמרי פי ויגון לי בפניך, השם צורי וגואלי. And then, before we say the עושה שלום במרומיו, we say it again. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי. So after the second, יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, you can add your own words. You can add, before you say עושה שלום במרומיו, you can add your own request. So it's recommended over there. You can also add your own request in the middle of the bracha of Shomea Tfilah. Before you finish Baruch Atah Hashem Shomea Tfilah, you can add anything you want there. Help my son, help my daughter, find shidduch for her, find us a job, help me, save me from this guy. You know, everyone with his own requests. One of the recommendations here is to say to Hashem like this: Hashem, save me for you, not for me. You don't deserve to suffer like I deserve. I deserve, but you don't deserve. So if you punish me, you suffer with me like a father that punishes his son. He suffers more than the son even. The son is screaming in a room, but the father is crying outside. Right? So you say to him, for yourself, not for me. Why? What's the difference? What, we playing games here? The Satan cannot open his mouth against such a request. If you say, save me, I'm suffering, I can't take this anymore, help me, help! The Satan say, objection, your honor. Look at this wicked guy. What, he's making a little bit impression on you? You want to forgive him? Look how he lives. Look, he has Christine in his home. Look how much he's still in his business. Look how much he does this, how much he cheats on his wife, how much he does, how much he... so many things. The Satan rules everything. That's his job. What can you... But if you ask for Hashem, the Satan cannot make a beat. What is he going to say? Hashem, you don't deserve to get saved. You got the point or no? So if your father is good, you come to the judge, You say to him, I don't care about myself. I deserve any punishment you give me, but look at my father. He's a good man. He does so much and this. So right away, the judge look at the crime from a different point of view. It's not him, it's the father. You got it? When Shlomo HaMelech built the Bet HaMikdash, they wanted to open the door. The door is not opening, a big door, very heavy door. He said the name of all the tzaddikim. It didn't open. Only when he said his father named David, the door opened. To show you zchut avot. When he said his own father name, David, the door opened up. When a person comes and speaks to not religious Jews, to convince them to become religious, most of the time, supposedly it ends with no success. They went back to stay goyim. That's it. They heard, they pretend that they're interested, and the next day they go back to Christine. Everything is usual. See him in the same restaurant, same lunch, same stealing, same cheating, everything the same. Same Chilul Shabbat. So technically, the guy who gave his efforts to make them religious, his friends, his brother, his parents sometimes, he become weak. So look, I'm putting my heart into this, and 1 to 100 finally agreed to become Shomer Shabbat. So much efforts I put, and in the end I have only one success. So it makes him give up. It doesn't pay. This is not a productive business. You convince 100 customers, and in the end one of them bought the camera, I'll be out of business like this. But what's the difference when you stand in a store and convince 100 customers to lease a car or to buy a car, and in the end you sold one? That's 100, actually 99% waste of time, right? You had 100 customers, you say the same sales speech to all of them, one signed up. So that means 99% of your day goes to the garbage. Nobody pays you for that. You work on commission only. Then you're right, you should quit. What are you doing there? Find a better product. But here, it's different completely. Why? First of all, when you speak to him, every word you say to him, you get big reward. Whether he agree, whether he accept it, not, doesn't matter right now. First, you get rewarded just for the effort. You don't only get rewarded if you make him religious or not. For the efforts, you already have a huge reward. If he become religious, you get rewarded for every mitzvah he will ever do in his eternity, him and his descendants forever. If he makes other people religious, whatever they do also go to your account. Very good business. You made one, you make fortune, spiritually. But what happened if you put your efforts and he did not become religious? Okay, so you got for the 1 hour that you spoke to him, you got for the efforts, but that's it. There's no income because he doesn't keep. Here comes the catch. The Kabbalah says, and we'll finish with that you take his share to the world to come into your hand. They don't know it. So it's a no-lose situation. You always win. No matter what you do, you win. If he became religious, you win big time from all his mitzvot. He gets rewarded and you get the same reward. If he does not become religious, every Jew is born with a share to the world to come. Since he's going to lose it, who does Hashem take it to? To you. What happened if 2 people came to make him religious, you and another rabbi? You get according to how much you put, and the other rabbi, and you split his share to the world to come. So your world to come, it's like 2 people now, combined. And if it's 10, it's like 10 people combined. And if it's 100, they did not become religious. It's 100 tickets. 100 tickets. You understand? If it's 1,000, it's 1,000 tickets. If it's 100,000 people who heard you over your lifetime, and they did not become religious, you have 100,000 tickets in your hand. Believe me, if the rich people would know, they would give everything they have to buy one of those tickets. Everything. If they have 100 billion, they'll give you 99.9 billion for that ticket alone. The ticket, once you have the ticket, doesn't mean that much. You have to materialize it. You have to pass the test. Every ticket has conditions. Shabbat, Tefillin, Kashrut, etc., etc. One time I went to a concert with my wife. We got free tickets to a very fancy show in a Rainbow Room. You heard that Rainbow Room? I don't even know if it's still in business. It's in a CBS building in 5th Avenue. Very fancy place. It's round. It's all clear. You feel that you're in a plane. It's very, very high. So each ticket is $300. I didn't even know the show. But since I felt that $600 will go to the garbage, you know, sometimes a person go to buy just because it's 50% off. He doesn't need it. But the idea of wasting now $500 on a sale, so he buys it and put it in the garbage and in the end lose an extra $500. Or he cut $3 coupon and pay $10 gas to go to the store. Like most of us do. That's how you see that a person doesn't believe in Hashem when he cuts coupons. Did the coupon book came? No, it didn't come. How much you going to say? $5? Come on. Why are you killing yourself? How do you know if a person has faith in Hashem or not? If one day you want to marry your daughter to a guy, and everybody tells you he's great, he's learning Torah, he has emunah, everything. Don't believe. You want to know if they have emunah or not? Send them shopping on Friday and follow them in a supermarket. If they compare prices, they don't have any emunah in Hashem. Don't marry your daughter to them. Why? They all baloney. Why? The Torah promised that all the expenses on Shabbat is on Hashem's expense. So why are you comparing? This salad is $4.99, this is $4.39. What do you care? This is a much better salad. Put it on the Shabbos table. Rabbi, but it's 10% different. What do you care? You're not paying for it. Like when I went to Myrtle Beach, first thing that the rabbi that picked me up from the airport, he took me to eat lunch. It was a late lunch dinner, before the lecture. So we went to a place. There was a husband and wife eating there. You know, 5, 6 in the evening, nobody comes to restaurants still. It's a quiet time. So it's a dairy restaurant, so we had a modest meal. So before we finished, we were on a bench. So the guy on the way out shook our hands, and he said to the rabbi, I already paid for the table. So the rabbi said, next time tell me before that, I'll know to order more. Yeah, you understand? When it's my money, I eat very little. When you pay, why not? Give me 5. Same thing here. If Hashem pays, why you compare prices? Why you bring coupon on Friday to the supermarket? Well, Torah promise. All the expenses of Shabbat is on Hashem. When a person is still fighting for the prices, that shows he doesn't have so much emunah in the Torah. Torah promise. The Torah promise. So here is the point. You never give up. Even if you talk to a friend, and you know the chance that he will become religious is 1%. 0. Okay, 0. Nothing. What do you have to lose? Just by talking to him, you took his share. You just took his share. It's better that his share will go to somebody else. You have an opportunity. Either you make him religious, which is the best, and if not, you just got his share to the world to come. So it's a no-lose situation. Yes?
What if everybody, like 10 people, put in the effort to make this person religious?
So they all take 10% of his ticket.
No, this person becomes religious. They all receive the...
They all receive according to their efforts, yes. Yes. No, it's almost very rare that one person makes somebody religious by himself. It's always few partners. He starts and then somebody else comes, then he goes to another shul, he joined a Torah lecture, he heard another tape. It's a process. Nobody goes, I became religious. I can count on one hand how many cases I had that I spoke to a guy or a girl for a few minutes and they became religious. Most of the time it's a process. I had one guy, 45 minutes I spoke to him, that's it. No proofs, no nothing. Just with the Chumash open. Hair like this, from a very rich family, sport, expensive car, nice looking young guy. Doesn't know that much about Judaism. Spoke to him 45 minutes, he started to cry like a baby. Mamash crying, shaking, wow, I can't believe how I lived all my life. Right away became religious. And today is running TorahAnyTime.com. For me, it wasn't a doubt. I already knew he's going to be somebody big. Hashem gave him a bonus. He has a job. He's not making money a lot, but he makes tons of mitzvot. He puts all the lectures. He participates in every lecture of 200 rabbis. Every lecture he posts, he has a share in it. Understand? Not everybody has an opportunity to be in a job like this. Yeah, understand what we're talking here about? Many Jews are dreaming, wow, I wish I was a baseball player. I wish I was a football player. You fool. What do they have in their life? They all take drugs and they're all depressed. What do they have in their life? Plus, after a month or two, they get tired of it. You think they have time? Practice again, don't eat that, don't eat, gym, workout, injection, doctors, this, you lose, pressure, people curse you, yeah, flying all the time. It's not so simple to be an athlete or a sports player, like some kids think. I wish I was this guy, I wish I was that. Instead of saying, I wish I was a tzaddik, that is an opportunity to make millions of mitzvot every day. So he got lucky. Why? Because Hashem saw that what a pure soul this guy has. In 1 hour he became religious with no baloney. Right? Oh, that's the truth. Right away. No play games. That's the truth. That's the truth. I had one guy came to me for Shabbat. Blorit, his front was like maybe half a feet. And his sideburns, you know, there's something new, I guess. I don't know. I mean, until that day, I never saw such a thing. His sideburns look like half a moon, like this. As soon as I saw him, I got nervous a little bit. I said, "Oh, wow, what a Shabbat we're going to have." we sit with this guy. I sit with him first meal. I see he's a sweetheart, heart of gold, completely secular. He lives with like 8 girls with guys in an apartment in Brooklyn, in a house. Sdom v'Amorah's life. But you see, he has a good heart. You just need to show him the truth. We said all Shabbat, we talk. Motzei Shabbat, he said, that's it. I'm becoming religious. I want you to come to my house and make a lecture to all my roommates. I said, no problem. We make a date and we come. So now, he goes home. He gets to Brooklyn for months. It's about 2 hours with the bus. About 10:30 at night, he calls me up from Brooklyn. He said, don't ask what they're doing to me. They're destroying me here. I said, why? He said, they heard that I came. They saw that I came to you for Shabbat. And now when I got home, so I told him, how did they know you came to me for Shabbat? Why you told them? So what do you mean? They see the kippah. So I told him, what? You didn't take the kippah after you left my house? We gave him a kippah. He came without a kippah. He just came 10 minutes before Shabbat. Goy came to the house and left the rabbi. Today he learns 17 hours a day. Doesn't leave the book for a minute. 4 o'clock he's in the mikveh, all day learns Torah. Like this. Cannot talk to this person, what a holy person he became. And why? When he was in yeshiva here in Monsey, he cleaned the garbage, takes, cook the food. No, don't ask for help. He does everything. People like this don't need to be a big rabbi. Somebody like this, chas v'shalom, you need help, he gives you bracha. It's like millions of brachot together. When Hashem is satisfied from a person like this, the Torah says, Birtzot Hashem darkei ish gam oivav yashlim imo. When Hashem is satisfied from a Jew, his enemies are begging to make peace with him. If you have enemies that fight with you, check yourself. You have some kind of a guilt here. It's not for nothing. You're not innocent. En ashan bli esh, the Gemara says. There's no smoke without fire. If there is smoke, there's fire somewhere. Means if people do something against you, check yourself, you find you guilty. That's why we say 3 are getting punished when there is Lashon Hara take place. Lashon Hara. The one who speaks, the one who listens, and the one that they speak about. The one who speaks, I understand, is guilty. The one who hears, I also understand. If he wouldn't hear, the other guy wouldn't talk. So they're both guilty. But the one that they are talking about is equally guilty. Poor guy. Not only they destroying his reputation, he's guilty in Shamayim for this Lashon Hara. Why? If you wouldn't make Chilul Hashem, if you be kosher, they wouldn't talk about you. They talk about you, that means you did Chilul Hashem. You understand? And even if you didn't do what they say, sometimes they make it up. You're innocent. Check yourself in other fields, you see over there you're guilty. Hashem, turn it around. Any questions before we finish? Everything clear? Yeah? נו? אוקיי, ברוך אדוני לעולם, אמן ואמן. Anybody wants to say